We are back for another edition. That's right. Palmer Bet's bolting in, and it has been bolting in the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of months, to be honest, boys. Both you guys have been absolutely sizzling, but the man of last weekend, Shane Anderson, Shane-O, fair to say, mate, you are on absolute fire. How are you?
Good to see you both, boys. And yeah, it was a good weekend last week. Makura winning the Oaks for Damien Oliver and Chris Lees. We were able to find her at a big price. But I think you touched on it. Has been an amazing carnival, particularly up north. We've been able to find some winners at good prices, but it really has been a really competitive racing and enjoyable to watch from afar.
And at McGrath, Amakura, I've done a little bit of research. So in Maori language, this means white pelican for the Chris Lee stuff. So I don't know, there must be a little bit of a connection, obviously, there somewhere with some Maori background in the ownership. But yeah, fantastic victory last week. And as I said, Ads, Shane-O literally burning the house down last week.
We are not worthy of being in his presence. Tell you what, maybe all this travel, him going to all these racetracks has just rejuvenated him and he's finding these winners. But Shane, I don't know what you'll be doing when we finish bolting in, but just stay betting in Queensland. Don't worry about Victoria. Don't worry about New South Wales. You've mastered it. You've got the tracks covered. You're finding the winners. Stay there. That's your new home ground. That's your Perth for me.
No, I appreciate the shout out. It's certainly been it's been good finding a few winners. I will say I am full up with the flu because of the amount of travel that I've been doing through Europe with work in the last couple of weeks. But watching the racing, I love these horses that you see during the Winter Carnival because quite often, and you both know this from following racing for as long as you have, you can find horses that really do look dominant forces, and you think, will they measure up to some of the other carnivals? It doesn't always work out the way. But for some of the winners that we've seen, particularly Kovalika in the Derby, he looks a legitimate spring carnival contender. I'd be tipping Amakura with the way that she won the Oaks last weekend. She could make the next step because she's only so lightly raced. And of course, we've got the big races this weekend with the likes of Think About It and even Hawaii 5-0, who looks really exciting. So we could see more that progress on, and whether it be for Sydney for the Spring Carnival, Melbourne for their Spring Carnival, or even beyond that. I think it's been a really good, strong carnival up in Queensland the past few weeks.
Hey, Shane, not only you, mate, have been on fire, but Adam, I'm just going to run through your bets too over the last couple of months. So the Doomben 10,000 Giga Kick, it's saluted. SA Derby Dunkeld at a solid price too, mate. Absolutely brained them. Doomben Cup Numerian runs second. And of course, Kovalika all over that for the Queensland Derby. So, mate, we can't downplay your tipping. And you found us a couple over in Perth as well, mate, which I know the Palmer Bet Bolton in followers absolutely love every week.
I know, well, I know they do because I had a few messages about Ablo going backwards in the heavy 8 on the weekend. So at least I know they were following the horse racing on a Monday, which was good to know. But no, look, it's been great fun. And for mine, I'm a bit sentimental. I think we've learned that. And Dunkeld was the highlight for me because I just love seeing good people win races. And I was really happy to see Paddy Payne win. I've been a huge fan of Billy Egan for a long time. When I was working in Victoria, he was just one of the jockeys. I just thought, look at how natural he is, the way he reads a race, his hands, his patience. Loved his story as well. So for mine, that's still been the highlight. And I am really excited that Giga Kick's gone on with it, that it hasn't just been a 3-year-old. I've loved that we've now to go. We've had Nature Strip and almost hand the baton over now to Giga Kick. And I think it's exciting next couple of years. And again, we speak of good people. Clayton Douglas, you're not going to find much better of a person than him. So I think racing's in a great way. And the grade ones or the Group 1 racing has been really good this year. Still more to come, but certainly plenty of highlights.
So hopefully plenty more winners to come. To Shane-O, Amakura, of course, won the Queensland Oaks emphatically on the weekend. The Produce Stakes, Safrado won. Kovalika, of course, you tipped in the Derby, mate. Think About It in the Kingsford Smith won. Your best roughie was Converge. It ran second. The Roses, Secure Girl runs third. And, of course, in the Doomben 10,000, you're all over Giga Kick as well, mate. So, you have had a sensational couple of months, and surely that's been financing these little round-the-world trips that you've been on the last couple of months, buddy.
Not sure it's financed it fully, but it's been a good experience regardless. No, but I will say, Adam touched on a few things. First of all, I just want to give him a shout out because he did say grade 1, so you can tell the Americanism now starting to the Wonder Man in the States. But no, Giga Kick, super exciting. Like what we saw with him, what he could do in the spring when winning the Everest. He's come back. He's won the TJ Smith. He's then gone up to Queensland and won again. And there looks to be so much more to come from him as he continues to mature. Powerhouse sprinting gelding. Think About It, who was dominant at the Kingsford Smith. And I'm pretty confident about him going into the Stradbroke. another powerhouse gelding that we could see race on for many years to come. So there's this new wave, as Adam rightly said, of sprinters. Nature Strip's handed over the crown now, and that's exciting because I think we should get, ideally, and provided everything stands up and the horses are fit and well, we should get a good 2, 3, possibly 4 more years of clashes, and we'll see some others also come through the ranks as well. So I think racing's in a pretty good spot at the moment based on what we've seen over the past few months, in particular the past season.
Boys, let's have a look at the feature races this weekend. None bigger than this. The Stradbroke Handicap, of course, Eagle Farm this Saturday, and the market, all thanks to Palmerbet. Think about it at $3.10. Hawaii 5-0, you just touched on. Really exciting prospect at $5. Converge at $10. Ruthless Dame at $13. Opal Ridge at $14. Cardinal Gem $16. Af Cabin at $16. Yellow Brick at $19. We haven't even got in that top line of betting Chain of Lightning from the Moody camp. It's at about $20, $21. I'm going to start with you, Ad McGrath. It's a ripping edition of the Stradbroke, isn't it, mate? And plenty of chances outside those top couple in the market.
Yeah, I've been following, just my thoughts as well. I've been following a social, a lot of people talking about how this race just always appears to be one of the best races on the calendar. And I completely agree with that. You might not have your Giga Kicks and those type of horses we're used to, but it always brings a good feel. There's normally someone talented coming through. And we often see a little bit of a runner at a price get up in this race as well. So I am looking forward to that fact. However, I think the trend is going to be bucked. Shane brought this horse to our attention a couple of weeks ago. I was a little bit slow to the party. But I do think it'll be winning. Think about it. Obviously got the 8 wins from the 9 starts. Probably should be undefeated, as Shane's mentioned before. And I think just the old saying that winners win. This is a horse that just knows how to win, and that's what it does. It won with 59. It drops to 54, so it's an absolute weight specialty. It's drawn well, extra 100. You don't really need to say much more. This is probably almost the same confidence level that we had with Giga Kick. I know you're getting a bit more of a price, but if you're going to really tell punters that you're confident on something, I think this has to be the one, and I think it's a really nice price for that. My value bet, I'm going to go with Ruthless Dame. I think she's, done nothing wrong there at all. She's an impressive filly. She's won the 3 from 6. She won the Saints with 55. She drops to 52.5. She gets arguably the best Victorian jockey of this season, Mickey D, in the saddle when it comes to Group 1 racing. I mean, he's just proven that he's so calm and collected now and can get the job done. There's going to be good speed, so I think she's going to run on. I think she's running on for second, as I mentioned, but I do think she'll give a good side as well. So think about it for me from Ruthless Dame as my value bet.
Shane, surely you're doubling down on think about it. It's a great point too, Adam makes. That 59 back to the 54 kilos. It's a big, big weight drop, isn't it, for a horse that's certainly going places.
Yeah, he summed it up beautifully. I've got 2 clear top raters in this race, and they're both dominating the market at the moment. My top rater and the horse that I'm most confident about is Think About It. I can't add much more than what Adam's already said with the weight drop from 59 down to 54. I actually like where he's drawn, because if the emergencies come out, I think he's going to come in, say, another 4 horses on barrier 12, comes in and maybe, say, barrier 8 if the emergencies are scratched. But regardless, whatever happens there, I think he's in a good position to give Sam Clipperton a few options early in the race, whether he wants to have the horse sort of a little bit forward of midfield or midfield. I don't think he'll get too far back in the race. It looks like it's going to be a strongly run Stradbroke, big field, but there's a fair bit of pace, particularly with some of the runners that are drawn a little bit wider. So that should really set things up. But every way I map this race, everything I look, I keep coming back to him as the horse to beat. Think about it. Amazing record, as Adam touched on it, certainly a belief of mine. He should be unbeaten. Dominant in the Kingsford Smith, even though the margin wasn't huge, but there was a touch of authority about it. And this is the race he's been set for all the way through. He's got a big powerhouse finish on him. And the other thing, too, I like about him is that even when things don't go to plan, he can overcome those obstacles. Yeah. I mean, in the Kingsford Smith, he had
good horse.
He sat a bit wide in the run, even though with a little bit cover, but put there to win when he needed to, and he did the job well. So I'm happy to side with him. But the other one I'm really excited about is Hawaii 5-0. I sort of preempted that with my when we were having our introduction chat. Gay Waterhouse, Adrian Bott, Rachel King in the saddle, another one who drops enormously in weight, was able to win the Fred Best over the course and distance with 57 kilos last start. 3-year-olds generally go well in this race, dropping right down now to 49.5 kilos. Overall record's good, drawn perfectly in barrier number 3 for a horse that's got natural on-speed ability, so I think he'll bounce and run. And to me, I might be stupid here, but I've said this numerous times, particularly in big handicap races, I like to look for a bit of value, but I can't find anything at the bigger odds that really stands out to me. So I'm happy to go main bet, Think About It, secondary bet, Hawaii 5-0. I think the market's about right for where they are price-wise at the moment. And I think it's going to be a fantastic Stradbroke. I'm really looking forward to it. But the favourite, it's a one to beat.
And Matty, I know you're a man that's been down the bull for all those celebrations. I saw that at Hawaii 5-0 wins, they're shouting more than just the bar. I think the celebrations are meant to be going on for a couple of days. So I think the people in the crowd are really going to be cheering this horse home as well, and could get ugly if it does get up.
It's great stories, and that's what racing's all about, isn't it? Ownership and having a bit of fun and getting out of the races with your friends and enjoying the moment. JJ Atkins, boys, race 7 at Eagle Farm on Saturday. The Palmerbet market, Tannhauser at $5, Snapback at $6.50, Azula at $7, Miracle of Love at $9, Make a Call $9.50, Congregation at $10, Safrado at $12, and Chrysaor at $14. Shane Anderson, I'm going to come back to you, big fella. What are your thoughts on the JJ Atkins?
Well, I like it again. Another race I like, but I'm finding it a bit of a head scratcher. I was with Safrado when he won the Sires Produce, and we got a good price about him again. And if you like that, you can stick with him. I'm just deviating a little bit from that form line because when we look at the Sires Produce, I cheered him home, Safrado, but it was a messy race. There was a lot of interference, and you could make a case that there was probably 6, maybe even 7 horses that with clearer passages could have actually won the race. So when you see something like that unfold, I'm trying to work out who was actually the best run in the race. I'm yet to come to a conclusion of that. So if you like a horse coming through the Sires Produce, good luck. You can bet him with confidence. I'm just steering clear a little bit. I do like number 17, Miracle of Love, bred to be an absolute superstar by Done Deal out of that magnificent filly and mare in Miss Finland. Huge run on debut in the listed Woodlands at Scone over 1,100 metres during their carnival before going to Doomben to win a maiden last week over 1,350 metres. Distance looks perfect. I like her midfield barrier draw. She's got a really big finish on her, this filly, and I think she's a really strong each-way bet at sort of that, I think you said around $9, Matty, give or take. So I'm happy with her each-way Miracle of Love. And the other one I quite like here is at a big price is number 12, King Colorado for Kieran David Eustace. Good performance on debut. That was at May 23. I should say that was a good win at Kembla Grange on May 23 over 1,400 metres after a strong debut at that track over shorter. Again, steps up to 1,600 metres, bred to be very good at this distance range, of course, being by that superstar miler in Europe in Kingman. And he's drawn ideally. So, like I said, if you like the Sires Produce Stakes form, you can find probably 5, 6, 7, 8 horses out of that race that you want to have a bet with. I'm going a little bit different here because I can't work out how that race is going to play off into the future. So I'm happy to be with Miracle of Love each way as my best at around that sort of $9 mark. King of Colorado, give or take about $25, $26 each way as the value bet. But I'm excited by this race because I think there's a bit of talent there.
What about you, Ads?
Yeah, I'm really excited by this race as well. I'm with Shane. This is probably out of all the Group 1s we've done this carnival, I probably spent the longest on this because I just had to keep watching replay at this. And it was the same replay. I had to keep watching the Sires. I watched it probably 15, 20 times, still trying to find it. And I think I found the run. I'm going to go that little bit more confident. I think I found it. I think Make a Call was your winner of that race. And I think it would have won well if it had got out there. So, it was an interesting performance from barrier 15 to end up where it did and just couldn't get through and just didn't get that run late. It gets back up to a mile. I think that the key for this horse too, when you look at its last 3 runs, it was favoured on the heavy 8, didn't go amazingly well on the heavy 8, then had a soft 7, then we saw it on the good 4 last time, and I think it wants that good track. Now, Sam Clipperton jumps on board. He's going to have a lot of confidence going into this. I mean, he's got great rides in all the Group 1s. Not only we talked about Think About It, he's got Make a Call here, and then he's got Jewis as well coming up in the other ones. So he's got a great opportunity. But I just think from 13, again, when the emergencies come out, it's going to get into a nice draw, almost exactly what we're talking about with Think About It. I think it can track into the race nicely. It looked like it was absolutely bolting and just going to go straight past them when the run's closed. And I think if it gets any luck from the middle of the track, it can run on. For my value pick, again, I'm going to go from the same race. And I thought there was a few. I mean, Miss Jolene was huge. She's at a really big price here. Californian jumped from 13 and will jump from 1 with Ryan Maloney. But I'm actually going to go one that's about 50 to 1. And I'm going to go with Chevron. I thought it was a massive run. It was last around the corner. It was 70 to 1. Craig Williams, I think, didn't quite know what he had underneath him. And then he's got to the outside and seen this horse going. And knowing Craig and how he thinks, he would have already been thinking ahead next start. He knew he couldn't win there. He just continued to run through the line. He would have made sure there was a little bit more left in the tank there. They go up to the mile now. We saw the improvement from 1,100 up to 1,400. Now you get a mile. It's a shame they're still drawn badly out in 16. But look, I think he can run a massive race. It was third fastest 400 to 200. It was actually the fastest last 200 in that race as well. So at 50 or 60, I'm not sure what Palmer Bet's going to throw up for us. So I think it's a great value bet.
Love it, mate. Absolutely love it. And both your best bets around that $9 or $10 mark in the JJ Atkins. Let's have a look at the Q22 at Eagle Farm this Saturday over the 2,200 metres. The Palmer Bet market without a fight at $3.10. Hutdor at $5. Numerian at $5.50. Duais at $7.50. Serpentine $13. Luntzies at $17. Nonconformist at $20. And Fame at $21. Adam McGrath, I'll start with you, buddy.
Found this one a little bit easier, and I hope it doesn't come to bite me, but I thought without a fight, that run at Eagle Farm was absolutely sensational in the Group 3. Loved the turn of foot late, and Mark Zahra just gave it an absolute peach. They draw very similar, jump from 10 that day. They draw 11 here, a winner of 8 from 19. We saw it go around in the Melbourne Cup. It's returned, really good run there over the 1,800. Gets the extra 400 metres now. Second up, the Freeman team just know how to deliver with these horses. So I think it's going to be very hard to beat. I mean, of the 19 career runs it's had, it's finished in the top 3 on 15 occasions. So it's just a very good horse. And I think we're going to continue to see that. And my value bet, I thought about this a lot because when you start saying the stats out loud, you start hitting yourself in the head. So I've gone with number 9, Young Werther, who I will add has won 1 from 20 and hasn't won for over 1,000 days. So trust me, before I started saying this live, knowing it was going to be recorded and put on social media, I've thought about it over and over again. But again, in that race behind without a fight, it was the third fastest 8 to 6, the fourth fastest 6 to 4, and then the third fastest 4 to 2, and then was second fastest only behind without a fight over those last 200 metres. It actually goes really well second up, 5 attempts, 3 top 3 finishes without that win, gets 3 extra trip, and it gets barrier 1 as well. So I just thought a nice little play there for a horse that's only won 1 from 20 and 1,000 days between drinks. So we'll really just emphasise the value part there, but I think you can run a race.
Love it, mate. Shano, what are your thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, I found this race a little bit of a head scratcher. I've chopped and changed a bit, but I've come back to Duais as my best in the race. And I think you can probably back it with a bit of confidence each way at $7.50. We know on her day, she's an outstanding mare. She's a multiple Group 1 winner. And she was good first up in the Doomben Cup. She battled away really well for fourth, not beaten too far. You'd expect a little bit of fitness improvement coming from that, being her first run back since the Melbourne Cup. So I'm happy to be with her as my best in the race at $7.50. And look, if we're talking Kovalica as being a potential Spring Carnival horse, Fame's performance when runner-up in the Derby to Kovalica was very, very strong. Peter Moody knows how to win these types of races, and get more and more out of a horse throughout a campaign. So I'm happy to be with Fame as the value bet around $21 because I think he's a horse that's certainly got a big future. And we've seen the 3-year-old form stand up fairly well through some of these weight for age races so far. So Duais on top, my best at the each way, $7.50. Fame, the value bet each way at around $21.
Could be a big day for Sammy Clivet and then tipped in all 3 races.
Yeah, I think he's very much in form, very good jockey. And I think you're right. Like, I mean, he's got the right horses to really have a standout day, a stellar day for him.
Righto, Ads, what's your best of the rest, buddy, around the country?
Yeah, got 2 at Belmont. Look, I will add again that I've seen people canoeing outside Bunnings. I've seen snow. I've seen ice. I've seen conditions I've not seen in Western Australia in my whole lifetime. It looks outrageous what's occurred there this week. I sent some images from trials yesterday and I'm amazed they went around. So we're looking for genuine heavy form, which again doesn't happen too often in Perth. Race 6, number 11, Top of the Pops. They just got this horse wrong. They were talking about taking it to some of the Group 1s. Fight goes on, 1,000 metres. I think it's just a Belmont horse. It doesn't get around Ascot. I want further than 1,000, but with a heavy track, I think it can go well. And then in the main one, we've got the Strickland. Race 7, number 5, Notorious One. Now, this will be a hard watch. The jockey will not whip it. He will not touch it at all, Jordan Turner. He knows that this horse has got a mind of its own, doesn't really like to run straight, doesn't really like to be told what to do, but they've got a little understanding going. Love the way it attacked the line last time, up to 2,000 on a heavy track. Don't be looking for him to whip it. Whatever you do, he's just going to be riding hands and heels. So we're going to just be grinding away as we try to get there.
Beautiful, mate. Shano, what about you, buddy? Everybody.
Just on my call. Just hearing a horse that doesn't like to be told what to do reminds me a little bit of myself, so I probably should have something on it. Look, I might be absolutely delusional, and I've been called that numerous times, but September Run is a huge price in the Dane Ripper, the final race on Saturday at Eagle Farm. For a mare of her quality, set weights and penalties really swings in her favour, I think. If you disregard her performance in the Mares Group 1, the Sangster last start in Morfordville, I think she'd be one of the favourites here. She didn't have the best of luck in the William Reid. We know on her day she's probably the best mare in that race. I think we're going to get odds of around $21, give or take. It's a massive price for the Dane Ripper. So September Run's the one I'm quite keen on at a big price. I'm happy to play her, and hopefully she brings her best and she wins. But to me, the Dane Ripper, the last race at Eagle Farm, she's a huge, huge price.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Hey, boys, been fantastic couple of months. As I banged on at the start, I don't like to pump your tyres up too much, but seriously, the Palmerbet Bolton in followers, they are absolutely loaded at the moment. Download that Palmerbet app. It's really easy to navigate through. And as we always say, gamble in a responsible manner and think about what you're actually gambling with. Go to that helpline if you want to find out more information, or the number on your screen. Boys, great to catch up as always. Going to be a ripping weekend of racing this weekend at Eagle Farm. Of course, the feature, the Stradbroke, and look forward to chatting more next week.
Sounds good, boys. Thanks.
See you guys. Great working with you.
Think, is this a bet you really want to place? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.